This is Your Life, a Ralph Edwards production of an American television tradition. With your host, Joe Campanella.
Buonasera, signore e signori. Oh, excuse me. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to This Is Your Life. No, the subject of tonight's show is not a famous pizza maker. I am disguised like this. To surprise tonight's principal subject, who thinks that she's coming here to famous Spargo's restaurant in Los Angeles to have dinner with her close friend, actress Jane Fonda. What brings these two ladies together is an organization called Delancey Street, a self-help rehabilitation program for hardcore criminals, drug addicts, and just about anyone else considered to be one of society's rejects. Tonight's principal subject has devoted her life to helping these people rebuild their lives through Delancey Street. While the cameras are hidden, the lights are low, Jane Fonda's in her place, our principal subject is now arriving, and it's time for me to go to work.
Good to see you. I have our time tracked. I'm so thrilled.
Have you ever eaten
No,
here before?
I've read about it.
Have a seat. This is exciting, isn't it? I have always wanted to come here. I've never been here before.
Oh, Pop. It's a famous.
The Benjamin. So nice to see you. I know you. You look familiar. You're a famous person, too, no?
No, I'm a nobody, but I'm nice.
This is Dr. Mimi Silbert of the Delancey Street Foundation.
Yes, the Delancey Street is a place where they make the hardcore, the criminals, the drug addicts. They make them doctors, lawyers, teachers. You're the lady behind all of this, yes. And you're also a former cheerleader from Brookline High School in Massachusetts, aren't you? You see, I know a lot more about you, Mimi Silbert, than you think. I'm not a pizza chef, as a matter of fact. Let me put this aside. Let me take this off. I'm Joe Campanella. I'm an actor. Jane has helped me trap you here so that we can say to you, Dr. Mimi H. Silbert, this is your life. Yes, just like
I always used to watch it, cry and everything. Janie Fonda kept me up.
Now, we've got to go to the studio and tell you a story of your tireless devotion to those hardcore criminals that you helped. Okay? Let's go. Come on. Let's have a play.
My daddy.
They are now, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Campanella, with our This Is Your Life surprise guest, Dr. Mimi Silbert, and her friend, Jane Fonda.
Jane, you know, I know you've devoted so many hours of work to help Mimi with the Delancey Street Foundation. Would you tell us a little about it, please?
Well, about 65% of the adult population in the state and federal prisons have already been in some form of prison before, and that's a very destructive cycle for the criminal and for society. But according to Delancey Street records, the foundation has a 90% success rate of keeping its graduates out of trouble. They actually transform themselves into productive members of society, and I see some of them right here.
Well, let's go meet them. Come on. Come on. Come on, Mimi. What is your name?
John Ridley.
And John, what is your story?
Well, I was a dope dealer and in and out of prison for 15 years, and the courts offered me Delancey Street, so I went for it. And now my life is straightened out, and I'm soon to become a licensed dry cleaner and planning to open my own business.
Fantastic. And you, sir? What is your name?
My name is Mike Forrest, and I've used heroin since the age of 13. I've been arrested for everything from selling drugs to carrying guns. And while in Delancey Street, I learned a trade as an auto mechanic, and I'm currently going to college to get a degree as a certified public accountant.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Joanna Cusa, and I was 15 years old and on angel dust. I'm so nervous. Thank you, Mimi, for helping me with my master's and my PhD.
We thank you, Joanne, Mike, John. And thank you, Jane, very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Joe.
You sure know how to keep a secret. Jane, would you please take a seat in the audience while we tell the people more about Delancey Street and especially about Dr. Mimi H. Silbert. I think we can hold up to him, Mimi. Hold it. Okay. Come on. A little bit of a shock?
Oh, God, it is just incredible.
Well, we've got more surprises to come. So here we go. Boston, Massachusetts, March 29th, 1942. Dena and Herb Halper become the proud parents of their only child, Mimi. From the start, you announce your independent nature. At the age of 1, while taking a walk down some cement stairs with your mother, you pull away from her hand and say your first words, Mimi, myself. But what happened then?
I toppled down the steps and smashed my head at the bottom of the cement, which I think is the reason that I'm a little bit off ever since.
Oh, yes, but she bounced right back.
She was full of spirit, even when she was in hospital.
I'm sure you recognize those voices all the way from West Palm Beach, Florida. Your parents, Dena and Herb Halper. Mrs. Halper, now you've got to tell us about what was this hospital in Mimi's past?
Well, when Mimi was 8 years old, she contracted osteomyelitis of her left leg. She had to be in the hospital for a month, where she got penicillin shots every 3 hours.
But it didn't get her down, Joe. Not even when she had to spend the summer in a wheelchair. As the movies, homemade movies show, you were unstoppable. She was unstoppable then, and she still is today.
Thank you both very much for being here tonight to Mimi's special night. Please have a seat in the back there now. Mimi, that childhood illness didn't stop you from being a cheerleader at Brookline High in Massachusetts, where you were voted the nicest girl, class of '59. But of course, like most students, your nose wasn't always in a book.
Have a game of the game of the gila, the gets to the go, to the get of the guts, to the go to the gut.
Now, what was that?
To the get with the guns, to the get of the guts, to the rock of the goon, to the get with the gun of the get.
Who was that?
That was Janet, my very best friend.
Here from Boston, your best friend since you were 8, Janet Zanditon Rome.
Oh, God.
You gotta tell me, what kind of a language is that?
That's our childhood gibberish that only Mimi and I understand, and we still talk to each other that way.
Right.
Now, what was it you said again? Just say it. Translation?
Hey, Mimi, let's go get a soda.
These are grown human beings sitting here.
What kind of a girl was Mimi in high school?
Janet.
She was so popular, she could have spent all her spare time going to parties. But even way back then, she was into helping people and families in trouble.
You were a typical teenage girl. In fact, there's a picture of you talking on the phone.
You were probably talking to me, Mim. We spent hours talking on the phone and in your basement.
You recognize that voice, Mimi? You haven't seen him in 12 years? Here from Boston, your high school boyfriend, Bob Kraft. Sit down, Bob, and tell me about these basement rendezvous.
Well, occasionally on school nights after our parents had gone to sleep, I used to take a cab from my home out to South Street and climb in the basement window, which was quite small with Mim's help. And one night, Mum Halper was at the top of the stairs wondering what her daughter was doing in the basement at 12:30 in the evening on a school night. But
Studying?
But Mim, in her inimitable way, explained her way out. Meanwhile, I'm hanging half in and half out of the window. My heart's palpitating. Mim was kind enough to come down and help me get through the window, and we spent till about 3:30 and had a lovely evening. I went back, and I'll never forget, because the taxi driver I took back happened to be a man who knew my parents quite well, so he wound up getting the biggest tip of his life.
Oh, I'll bet he did. I'll bet he did. Listen, thank you both for coming here and helping us remember Mimi's school days. All right, Mimi, 1963, you moved to Berkeley, California, where you got a master's degree and PhDs in psychology and criminology from the University of California. Now, you could have become a socialite psychologist, but instead, you become a prison psychologist. 1966, you marry. In 68, you give birth to twin boys, David and Greg, who are here tonight in our audience, sharing a very special night with their mom. All right, let's go back to the early 70s. You're making a name for yourself as a criminologist and prison psychologist. But this takes a toll on your personal life, and your marriage soon ends in divorce. Around this same time, an ex-con named John Maher, ex-drug addict, is making a name for himself, running a controversial self-help rehabilitation center he started called Delancey Street.
When you're an absolute incompetent, you can either be a bum or a great social leader. I failed as a bum, so I had no option.
You know that voice. It's your partner in both Delancey Street and life.
do.
You've raised the boys together for 11 years, John Maher.
I thought we had no secrets.
All right. Mimi, this guy grew up in the Bronx, robbing people and shooting dope. You grew up in a well-to-do, intellectual Boston community. Now, what attracted you to John?
I know this sounds crazy, but we absolutely have the exact same impulsive, impetuous, headstrong, know-it-all attitude towards life.
First, I mistrusted Mimi like I mistrust all professional helpers, but she very quickly won me over. And then she fell in love with Delancey Street, which luckily I was there, so she fell in love with me too. And basically from that, we have just stuck together the rest of our lives and worked together, helping people. And right now, we end up being kind of the den parents of 200 large tattooed people.
Well, we'll meet some of those people and hear of their dramatic recoveries and learn more about Mimi in just a moment. We're back with This Is Your Life, Dr. Mimi H. Silbert, co-president of Delancey Street. Delancey Street is a self-help rehabilitation program that's taking in your, well, in your words, society's garbage and recycling them into productive citizens. Mimi, what's the background of the average Delancey Street resident?
Well, we take in the people no one else wants. They have an average of 10 years serious drug and alcohol addiction. They've been in and out of prison several times. They are generally illiterate. They hate. They are nasty. They have done horrible things to other people, and they've had horrible things done to them.
In other words, Delancey Street is their serious second chance.
Absolutely. They are at what we call hit bottom.
Delancey Street was my last chance.
You recognize that voice, Mimi?
I know that
In
voice.
1971, he was addicted to so many drugs, he was an overdose waiting to happen. Now, the co-vice president of Delancey Street, Bill Tolliver.
Bill, this lady helped me and my two brothers, who are also drug addicts, showed us what dignity, self-respect, and character order was, with her wisdom and her strength. And her particular showing of strength came when she first came to Delancey Street, when professionals weren't really accepted. In an encounter session, they tried to, through vicious verbal attack, run her away from the foundation. But she stood up to it. She learned to love us, understand us, and she passed on that love through us. And we want to thank you for staying, Mimi. We love you very, very much.
What do you do now, Bill?
I have a successful career, a successful marriage, thanks to Mimi, John, and Delancey Street.
And we thank you, Bill Tolliver, for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Delancey Street has no staff on salary. Everyone working there is a resident except for John and you.
Right.
Now, you accept no government or public funds. Now, why is that?
Well, one of the most important things in trying to make your life work, any life work, I think, is to be needed. And in Delancey Street, all 350 of our people are our staff. There are no patients, essentially.
Well, I mean, you don't accept money from the
We
government?
want no government money because we want to earn our own money. We're teaching people to be self-reliant.
We don't want to be hypocrites about
We
it.
don't want to be hypocrites. We want to earn it. We can earn it, and we do.
John, what do you have to say about that?
We run 5 business schools, moving and trucking. We have a large advertising specialty business to teach office work and stuff, an antique automobile restoration business to teach skills. And it brings us a lot of firsts. I mean, it was the first real estate licenses in California, the first convicts admitted to the bar in California, the first liquor licenses for those who might start a small grocery. So basically, there have been enough success stories to where when they leave us, they'll have 2 skills and at least a high school education and a federal credit union that they've run for 10 years to, I think, the most successful minority credit union in the country.
Well, one of the philosophies of the program, I know, is since you can't cure an alcoholic in a bar, you can't expect to cure an addict in a slum. So Delancey Street is housed in one of the most fashionable and expensive areas of the city.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess you and your band of ex-cons and drug addicts and former prostitutes weren't exactly welcomed in that neighborhood, were you?
No, they were terrified, and they hated us, and they responded nastily.
But you were welcomed in New Mexico, where you helped reorganize the New Mexico state prison system, and where you predicted the bloody riot there in 1980.
Yeah.
36 hours of rage, which left 33 inmates dead. Before Delancey Street opened in Santa Fe, New Mexico, there was no alternative to the overcrowded prisons. Now you have a facility where the hardcore criminals can rebuild their lives and stay out of prison.
Yes, we have a gorgeous 17-acre
That's where I
ranch.
work, Joe, and I wouldn't be there today without Mimi.
That's the voice of a
Little
Delancey Street
Terry.
graduate. Since once a 9th grade dropout, a street prostitute, a drug addict at the age of 14, now she has a master's degree in criminology. She's working for her Ph.D., Teresa Lynch.
Teresa!
Well, Teresa?
Joe, if it wasn't for Mimi, I'd either be back in jail or dead on the street. And even after 3 years of being in Delancey Street, and I wanted to leave, you talked me into staying until I was strong enough to kind of survive on my own. And now I run the Delancey Street in New Mexico, helping other kids who have a chance to make something out of their lives and graduate into new lives. And I just want to thank you and John.
Thank you, Terry. We'll be right back. The Delancey Street Foundation currently has over 500 residents living in centers in San Francisco, New Mexico, and your newest facility in New York State. We know that you are now working on finding suitable housing here in Los Angeles and in Montreal. But wherever you're located, each center will reflect your philosophy. With love and guidance, people can change their lives, no matter how desperate they may seem. We've seen proof of that here tonight. And here to acknowledge your contributions to San Francisco, where it all started, are 3 people who've witnessed the amazing impact that you've had on that city. Supervisor Nancy Walker, Sheriff Michael Hennessy, and Superior Court Judge Maxine Chesney.
Mimi, on behalf of Mayor Dianne Feinstein and the people of San Francisco, we're here to say thanks to all of you for giving thousands of desperate men and women a second chance at a productive, drug-free life to the betterment of all San Francisco. We're also here to officially announce January 5, 1984, Dr. Mimi H. Silbert Day in San Francisco. Congratulations.
come back and we're not finished yet. Mimi, you could easily have gone from the pep rallies of high school to the tea parties of high society. Instead, you and John chose to work in the prisons and slums of this country. You chose to move mountains by motivating the hardcore helpless into helping themselves. You had the talent to love people, not just for what they are, but for what they could be. And the ability to help those who wish to help themselves reach their true potential. Dr. Mimi H. Silbert, this is your life.
Oh, God.